Welcome back, Wolfpack. Direwolf here for another weekly news recap. And with me is my co-host, Vincent Veritas. How you doing?
I am all right tonight. Having a little trouble. I got a crick in my neck. I'm paralyzed from the hairline down.
You can check out him on the channel, Vincent Veritas. And also, we have our producer, newly upgraded producer, and on-air talent.
That's me.
Clyde.
That's me, everybody. Newly upgraded. I'm upgraded because I'm MAGA today. MAGA demonetized. Oh, man. Isn't that how it goes?
This is MAGA country.
It is.
Yeah, right. I like how those two things go together. They make perfect sense. You're very...
I got a coordinated wardrobe. Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, coordinated. All right. So you guys can support the channel, as you guys already are, by viewing, sharing, and subscribing. And that would be helping us out quite a bit. And also, a lot of you have chosen to support us financially, and you guys are our sponsors. So here are a few of the names of those who are sponsoring our show today. Daychrist, Laszlo, Ori Main, Nathan, Cameron, Tetris Freak, Slowpoke Garcia, who's going to be here for only a short part of the show, but we're glad to have you here nonetheless. Mr. Fox-a-Lot, Gabby G. Wiz, Hellraiser Zalon, Miss Valkyrie, and Gray Apathy.
Yeah.
Thank you all. We appreciate you guys' support.
Appreciate it, yes.
Everybody's freaking out because, Clyde, you took my spot.
I did. I did. I thought I'd switch it up. Well, that's because I got my whole boom arm setup thing is over on this side, and it kind of looked weird that it was coming out of Dyer's back.
You almost whacked Dyer with it. Be careful.
Yeah, watch out, buddy.
No.
We're also having a Dream Keepers raffle again, as always. Yeah. Everybody who donated last week, your name is going into the hat this week as well. It'll be a Volume 1 or Volume 2, depending on your choice and what you received so far. If you want to get in on it, it's $2 per entry via Streamlabs or Super Chats and or Bits.
Yes, and we are currently broadcasting on 7 different locations right now. Streamlabs will get to us and have an on-screen prompt and noise no matter where you are donating from. However, if you want to do a super chat, please go to the Direwolf channel and do super chats there. Otherwise, we might not see it right away.
We might miss it. We are watching the chat over on Direwolf Media. I periodically go back and check on Clyde's Soapbox, and I think Vince is looking at Arketer's channel because we're also streaming over on Arketer's channel. So,
am I? I'm looking at Dyer's channel, so I can keep up with it.
Well, maybe somebody's looking at it.
I'll go to Arketer's. I'll go to Arketer's during the
periodically, just to have a peek.
Yeah,
have a peek.
Right. And then for all the people who are at Arketer's channel, thanks for watching. But let's move on to our first story.
Yes.
Well, this is a good one. The left support the murder of children. The New York
State doesn't sound good at all.
No,
it doesn't sound great, but hey. The New York State Legislature passed a law to allow abortions after 24 weeks if the mother's health is at risk or there is an absence of fetal viability as defined in Doe versus Bolton. The mother's health includes mental health, just an FYI.
That's right. In New York, it's legal to kill your child all the way up to the moment before birth if a doctor determines the child will affect the mental health of the mother. What a ridiculous standard is that? Every child affects the mental health of their parents. Having children is a huge commitment. They are very costly. Children will be one of the biggest stresses in your life if you choose to have one. It's also not only possible, but likely with all the radical left and third wave feminists that very pro-abortion and that are very pro-abortion and very anti-child, that they will use this clause to allow the killing of fully formed living children shortly before birth. Because it is an inconvenience of having a child would burden the mental health of the mother.
If that wasn't bad enough, the act also repeals criminal penalties for violent crimes that caused the death of a woman's unborn child previously. Any person who was not a licensed physician who intentionally caused a woman to miscarry her child was liable to a felony. That's great. New York Democrats have literally made it legal to kill children. I'm not being dramatic. This is not hyperbole. This is an accurate statement.
Wait. Just slow down a second. You said that if somebody accidentally, like manslaughter way, hurts a woman and it results in a miscarriage, it's not a crime anymore?
You could sit there and kick a pregnant woman in the gut, not kill her, and you'll be charged with assault and not murder if the baby dies.
Right.
That's
messed up.
Yeah, that ain't right. That ain't right.
Not only is it legal to kill a child about to be born because it is not wanted, which is already horrendous enough on its own, but it is also no longer a crime to kill someone's child that they do want, that they see as their child. How are you protecting the human rights of the expecting mother who has spent months preparing for this child, named the child, who already loves this child, who is talking to her baby, who plays music for her baby because she thinks it's going to make it smarter? This child to them is very real, very wanted. Why is it not murder to kill this child? Is not considered murder just to they're not considering it murder just to justify them allowing doctors to do the same thing.
You know, the left has always gone on about protecting people who are helpless against systematic oppression. Why then are they oppressing children who are the most helpless members of society? If an expecting mother can convince a mental health professional her child will cause her undue stress, that person can approve of her killing her child up until the day it is born.
Sadly, the assault on our children by the left is not limited to New York state's border. In fact, allowing women unfettered rights to abortion up to the day of its birth is part of the Democrat platform. Their platform, published on the official DNC website, says they will provide safe and legal abortion. Full stop. No limitations. Hillary Clinton said point blank during the 2016 election campaign that she would support abortion up to the day of its birth. And in 2002, Obama voted against the Born Alive Act that would have protected babies that are born alive from being aborted post-birth. It should surprise no one if they were opposed to giving personhood to a living baby in 2002 that they would support a bill that would allow mothers to kill their babies post-birth today. 7 similar bills have been passed, 7 similar bills to the one that was passed in New York have been submitted in Rhode Island, and another one similar to the one in New York was passed or was submitted in Virginia that would have also expanded the legal abortion to include directly after birth. Thankfully, this bill was defeated, but it was supported by many Democrat political leaders in Virginia, which everyone should find disturbing.
I'd like to point out something. There's no such thing as post-birth abortion. There's no such thing. That's not an abortion.
It's not. But they were expanding the definition of abortion to include directly after birth, which, yes, is absurd because that is not an abortion.
Yeah, but they also say safe and abortion in the same sentence. Like, abortion ends in a person dying.
Yeah, is that safe for who? Safe
I just want to make it clear that when someone says post-birth abortion, what they're saying is murder.
Infanticide.
Yes.
Killing a child. That's what post-birth abortion. That's what the Virginia bill suggested. Thankfully, it was defeated, but it is disturbing that anyone thought it should be submitted in the first place.
Yeah, that's messed up. We've got a super chat from Slowpoke Garcia for $2. He says, "Okay, guys, I got to be back later and no abortion."
Aw. Well, that's one entry for Slowpoke Garcia into the raffle. So good job.
Yeah, there's a silver lining.
Yeah, that makes things better.
So yeah.
Hey, Virginia.
Yeah, I know, buddy. A Virginia lawmaker sent an email to her constituents Wednesday night apologizing for attaching her name to the controversial abortion bill in Virginia without reading it closely enough. I think it might be appropriate at this point to say, you had one job.
Yeah. What exactly did you think the people of Virginia elected you for? It certainly wasn't to rubber stamp any law submitted by your party, or, let's be honest, written by a lobbying group that funded your campaign. That's right. You actually need to read the bills and know what the laws you are trying to pass say. You are going to say, you can't, what are you going to do? Say, whoopsie, we shouldn't have passed that law that for exterminating babies. Damn, we should have really read that bill a little closer. Hey, maybe if the Nazis had tried that excuse, they would have gotten away with it.
Let's be clear. This policy is a eugenics policy, morally no different than what the Nazis did when they killed people with mental and physical disabilities. In fact, Planned Parenthood has a much larger body count, conducting its own personal little Holocaust every year. Hitler exterminated up to 20,000 mentally and physically disabled people, and America performs over 600,000 abortions a year.
Another dark correlation is how both the Democrats and the Nazis praise these killings as a moral good. We have feminists who write articles and wear T-shirts and apparel bragging about having abortions. We have people cheering for the right to kill a newborn. These abortion enthusiasts praise themselves for murder like the Nazis who celebrated their 10,000th patient they euthanized in 1941, serving beer and wine in the crematorium where they would burn them.
Dawn Adams, Democrat from Richmond, received a lot of public backlash for her support of the Virginia abortion bill. After the public became aware of what it included, they demanded to know why she supported it. She apologized, saying she didn't exercise due diligence before co-sponsoring the abortion legislation with Delegate Kathy Tran from Fairfax, who's also a Democrat. Tran became the focus of a firestorm this week after a video circulated of her saying the bill would allow abortions up until the moment of birth if one doctor certified that the mother's physical or mental health was at risk. I made a mistake, and all I know to do is to admit it, tell the truth, and let the chips fall where they may, said Adams, who is a first-term delegate.
Most other Democrats are standing by Tran. The response from Adams is the strongest public showing of regret from a lawmaker associated with the abortion bill, which has already been defeated. I'm glad the bill was defeated, but it should trouble everyone that it was proposed and still defended by many Democrats. Not surprising, no, but disturbing for sure.
Adams, who's a nurse practitioner, said she still believes women have full authority to decide what's best for themselves and their bodies. She excused her actions by stating that she mistakenly believed trans bill would only repeal onerous abortion restrictions Republicans opposed in 2012.
Really? What are these onerous abortion restrictions, you ask? Virginia passed a bill requiring that abortion clinics meet the same basic requirements as hospitals, including safety requirements for their facility, require that they are inspected, are able to perform certain medical procedures as a base minimum, and maintain detailed patient records, to know things like past history that might create complications or allergies. These are important things providing any kind of medical care. These requirements were put in place because unsafe and unsanitary abortion clinics are a huge problem in the U.S. and particularly in Virginia. 68 women die and 5 million women suffer long-term injuries every year due to unsafe abortions. The Democrats are so opposed to any restrictions on abortions that they are even against requiring them to be inspected or to meet basic health and safety standards. Nor do they require them to have the ability to respond to complications during the abortion. These restrictions were not unreasonable. So sorry, your excuse just shows you are even more of a fucking retard than we thought. Hopefully no one decides to abort you for being mentally disabled.
Wow.
Sorry, go on.
Yeah, it's all right, buddy.
I'm gonna
let it all out.
I'm gonna interrupt now for a super chat that we got from Riker the Malamute. For $6, he says, it's been a while. Glad to see you guys are still going strong. Thanks, man.
Thanks, buddy. 3 entries for Riker the Malamute for the Dream Keepers graphic novel.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sweet.
Recorded.
Yes. So Adams also said, while it did remove these restrictions, it sought to do much more. Had I researched each line of removed language, I would have seen that and known that there was much more research to be done. None of these changes that I believe women must have safe legal options for abortion, but I also would have seen the utility of language that provides guidelines for how to ensure this.
You literally just supported a bill that would make abortions less safe, make those medical facilities less accountable. And you say you are for safe abortions? I don't think that word means what you think it means.
I didn't do it, Dyer. I swear. I'm just quoting her. Yeah. Adams said she'll continue to support Tran, but she said her colleague was put in an excuse me. Adams said she'll continue to support Tran, but she said that her colleague put her in an untenable situation. Translation: I really support her in the bill, but I still need votes from the Senate to get reelected. So sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, did someone force her to support child murder? Sorry. I stand corrected. Did someone force you to support less safe child murder?
Well, maybe her sponsors and the Democratic Party.
Yeah, we get to that. House Majority Leader Todd Gilbert of Shenandoah asked Tran if a woman would be able to request an abortion as she was going into labor, and Tran replied that it would be allowed under her bill. Don't take our word for it, though. Listen for yourselves. Clyde.
Yes.
There was a very contentious committee.
Oh, this isn't the clip.
No. Hold on. Talk to people for a second. I'll find it.
Got it.
All right.
Different clips in. Okay.
That's the second clip. That one is of the governor of Virginia, who also had an oopsie.
Yeah. If you want to call it an oopsie, oh my God.
Well, you know what? Just take our word for it. She said it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to talk about it later on in this clip, which we're going to reference later, so it's fine.
Yeah. Kathy Tran's a monster for sponsoring this bill, even though it was defeated. On the same day that she voted in favor of killing children on the day of their birth, she voted to protect worms. Gypsy moth larvae and fall cankerworms, to be precise. You heard me. Invertebrate lives matter. Human children, not so much to Kathy Tran. She, along with other Democrats in the U.S., always try to frame the debate around a woman's right to control her body. This is an argument based on a falsehood. No one's trying to control women's bodies. No one's trying to force women to have children. There are many options for both birth control and for childcare after a woman gives birth. Adoption comes to mind, for example.
If trans statements weren't bad enough, Virginia Governor Ralph Northam coming to her defense was 10 times worse. Here's that clip.
Yeah.
No exception. There was a very contentious committee hearing yesterday when Fairfax County Delegate Kathy Tran made her case for lifting restrictions on third trimester abortions, as well as other restrictions now in place. And she was pressed by a Republican delegate about whether her bill would permit an abortion, even as a woman is essentially dilating, ready to give birth. And she answered that it would permit an abortion at that stage of labor. Do you support her measure and explain her answer?
Yeah, and I wasn't there, Julie, and I certainly can't speak for Delegate Tran, but
you know exactly what was said.
First thing I would say, this is why decisions such as this should be made by providers, physicians, and the mothers and fathers that are involved.
Stop that.
When we talk about
or the fucking law.
No. He just included fathers. Mothers and fathers. Fathers have no say.
Yeah. Also,
none. Zip, zilch.
No,
a woman can go there and get.
They don't. They don't have any say.
Also, a parent has no right to determine that their child can be killed. It doesn't matter. It can't be decided by a doctor and a parent. That morally is incorrect. Yes, right now it's legal in New York, but it is not moral, and that should not be part of our system of laws.
Right.
I'm just annoyed that he said that. Yeah, the fact that fathers can't determine anything about their child's living or dying pisses me off to no end. You know, so yeah, just go on with the clip for now.
Okay.
Third trimester abortions, these are done with the consent of obviously the mother, with the consent of the physicians, more than one physician, by the way. And it's done in cases where there may be severe deformities, there may be a fetus that's non-viable. So in this particular example, if a mother is in labor, I can tell you exactly what would happen. The infant would be delivered. The infant would be kept comfortable. The infant would be resuscitated.
Pause. You just contradicted yourself there, buddy. You're saying that they are not viable and that they have severe deformities, but then it was the baby's able to be resuscitated, or it's able to be made comfortable. So it is now a viable, because it has been resuscitated and is comfortable. It's stable. It's now a viable, born, alive baby you were referring to here.
Yeah, we're just gonna stick it in the incubator. Give it a little Mai Tai, let it have its last smoke. Then we're gonna off it.
And we're talking about like after birth, like. We're not talking or in the third trimester. If you're to be responsible about it, and you want to argue the fact that, like, okay, if there's like severe deformities and stuff, and it's not going to be a viable thing, well, you should catch that in the first trimester.
Also, he's using that as a red herring. He's using that as a red herring because the context of the actual statements from Tran was for the psychological health of the mother. It had nothing to do with deformity. Right now, the way the law that was being submitted, the bill is being submitted, was written, was if a single doctor can write that having this child would have a negative effect on the mental health of the parent, that is all that was required. He throws out, this is usually for severe deformities. Yeah, he can say that, but that's not what the bill says.
Right. So what about postpartum depression? That's a mental health issue.
Yes, exactly.
So you're saying that anyone can claim it?
Anyone can request it.
That's
ridiculous. And any mental health professional can just give it to them. Oh, okay. And how old's the baby? A month old. Oh, okay, time for a late term abortion.
Yeah. Imagine you have a third wave feminist, baby hating feminist, who's also a psychologist. How willing do you think they would be to sign off on that?
Wow. Trium is saying in the comments, severe deformities include a cleft palate, cleft lip.
Yep.
That's not a severe deformity in my. No.
That is by their definition, though. That's the problem.
No, that's not good.
Yeah. Also, I want to point out that viability, our ability to measure viability of a fetus is flawed. There are many people who their parents were told that their child was likely to be stillborn because the fetus did not look viable. They end up being born just fine and growing up and being adults and living normal lives because it's not exact, and also it varies based on the technology and the place of the hospital you're at. So there have been many false positives of doctors saying that a fetus was not viable when it was. And if you now have kids being aborted because of the assumption that they're not viable without it being true, that means you could be aborting perfectly fine children.
Right.
Based on that standard.
We have a super chat from Red Wolf Warrior for $6. A baby is not part of the mother's body. I'll stand by that to the end. I'll never defend a person who sides with infanticide.
It has different DNA. It has different DNA. It's a unique individual.
Yeah, Red Wolf what?
Red Wolf Warrior, $6. No problem, buddy. Now, you see, what they truly desire is the removal of the basic responsibility that comes with having sexual intercourse at the expense of the lives of innocents. If you're having sex, you're risking pregnancy because no method of birth control is 100% effective. Let's cut to the root of the problem here. I hit on the first part, which is ideology. The reason they support this insane policy is because they prescribe to an ideology that is first selfish and second, one that shuns personal accountability. These are both aspects of collectivism and Marxism. However, in addition, these politicians have created an incestuous financial relationship between the abortion industry and the government that directly benefits them.
Here's how it works. The government gives millions in tax dollars to fund Planned Parenthood. The Heritage Foundation reports that they received $1.5 billion over a 3-year period between from up to 2015. Planned Parenthood then gives millions of tax dollars back to politicians for their campaigns, in turn for those politicians supporting more funding and less restrictions for Planned Parenthood. In this case, Kathy Tran received $2,000 from Planned Parenthood for her support, and the governor of Virginia, Ralph Northam, who defended this policy, was given $2 million tax dollars from Planned Parenthood for his support. And who's to say there's not a wage gap? Look at that, 2,000 compared to 2 million. I guess that's what the going rate for a politician is these days.
Yeah, we have a super chat from Dave Youngson for £2. Women often have psychological effects years after abortions. Very true. Very true. If Virginia and New York weren't enough, and as well as Rhode Island, New Mexico is next. That's the state I live in. In New Mexico, pro-abortion lawmakers have introduced HB 51, which would repeal the law which had banned abortion except in cases of rape, incest, fetal disability, and when the pregnancy likely would result in grave impairment of physical or mental health. Additionally, HB 51 would also repeal a section of New Mexico law that provides religious and moral exemption for healthcare workers and hospitals that opt not to participate in performing abortions.
That means, regardless of your faith, you'll be forced to fund abortions. It isn't enough to say that clinics, it's not enough to have clinics. The left wants to force those pesky Catholics to support killing babies as well. I feel like you can't force a random feminist. If you can't force a random feminist to take part in morning mass, then you can't force a priest to pay for an abortion.
Right. I mean, not only pay for, but I mean, they're basically, that law is basically saying that these religious hospitals, these Catholic hospitals, would have to perform abortions.
That's outrageous.
Yep.
I mean, they're not just forcing you to pay for it. They're taking the gay cake route and making you do it. They're rubbing your nose in it.
And so, yeah, that's horrible. It's also somewhat like slavery, that they're forcing you to perform a task against your will. It's not a free transaction. And then it's also even like many factors worse, because they're forcing you to murder a child or what you see as being a child. That is incomprehensible. Morally corrupt, and this needs to stop. This needs to be changed. And I think this is a losing topic for the Democrats. That they are now on record defending the murder of children, and this is something I think is going to help get Trump elected. Because this is.
I think that the people, like the general people that do support abortion, don't support this.
They don't.
You know, like people generally that I've talked to that are pro-choice, and when they say that they're pro-choice, they're like. You tell them that like third trimester stuff, and they're like, "No, I would never support that. That's horrendous." But this is what they're fighting for. You know what I mean? Like they're all like those. Most people, when they think about abortion, they're thinking about, you know, like a few weeks into a pregnancy, maybe a month into a pregnancy, like that kind of thing, or like after what do they call it? After pill or whatever. They just kind
morning after.
Yeah, morning after pill. Like that's a lot of people are thinking that conservatives are trying to take those choices away from them, but that's not what it's about. That's not what this battle is.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're forcing their ideology on people. It's not enough that they're able to get it's not enough for them to get medically safe abortions. That's not what they want. They don't want what they want is to they're. It's like someone said in chat. They're overreaching here, and they are overreaching. But what they're trying to do is they really are trying to make people accept their ideology long term. You know what I mean? They're trying to.
Oh my God! And when they come out with it, and they just straight up, because we've been saying this for years, this is what they're fighting for, and then they come out and say, no, like up until the day of birth, Or even after.
It's like the same thing with the gun debate. They keep saying, "We're not after your guns. We're not after your guns."
Give me
until
guns.
the day that
Give
they
me
try
your
to pass a
guns.
law.
Yeah.
Until the day they try to pass a law where they take everybody's guns. They're dishonest about what their goals are.
Yeah.
And they try to. They have to be. They have to be because they have. In any election, you have to count on the center to win.
Well,
you know,
they know that it's morally just wrong.
They don't care, dude. Morals don't matter to them.
But you have to really like bend yourself into a weird position to even consider that. Like the first reaction that anyone would have to this is like, no, are you fucking what? Right? Like, no, this is wrong. This is just it's not amoral. It's immoral. It's I don't even have the words for it.
When researching for this topic, I was reading through because I was trying to find out how they dispose of the bodies, and the stories are graphic about they gotta. After they tear all the pieces out of the mother, they have to try to piece them back together and make sure they grabbed all the baby. They don't want to leave any extra baby inside by mistake, because that could cause complications for the mother, would-be mother. And then talking about just rinsing liquefied baby down the drain and throwing him into the freaking sewer is disgusting. And another part is this is clearly eugenics. I mean, they keep alluding to it, but their focus on post-birth abortions, like, comes out with deformities. We don't want a deformed baby, so we're going to go all Spartan on him and throw him off a cliff. I mean, there's no difference here. And
we'll keep it. But we're going to keep it comfortable before we throw it off the cliff, Dyer. It's okay.
Yeah.
What that makes it moral? That makes it more.
It's not moral. And you have no right to say someone because they have some sort of deformity that they don't have the right to live.
No.
You don't have that right. No. And we need to set that moral standard. It needs to be not only ingrained in our law but in our culture that people have the right to their own bodies. It is strange that the party that says that they are fighting for a bodily autonomy for women, and mostly just women actually, that you can't tell them what to do with their body, that they are saying that this child has no bodily autonomy, has no personhood, even after they're born and they're completely separate from the mother. This is insanity.
Later on, we're gonna play a clip from a abortion rights activist. That just sums up how brainless these people are. They just regurgitate talking points because they can't defend their position at all. They have no basis to defend their position. And what they do is they straw man saying, "Oh, well, you guys advocate the killing of children at the border, and you guys do this, and you guys do that." They have no way to defend themselves because this position is untenable, period.
But that's the thing. That's not the position that we have. But the position that they have is killing babies after they're born.
They're on record for that.
You know what I mean? Like, but they try to put that on you as like, well, you're just as immoral by giving something that doesn't exist. And it's like, well, let's not play the who's immoral Olympics when you're talking about killing babies. Like, that's fucking horrible. I don't know what the fuck to even...
650,000. 650,000 a year aborted. That's the low end.
Yeah. How many of them babies are black babies, I wonder?
Actually, a large portion of them. Because
isn't it a majority of them?
It is the majority, yes. It is the majority of them are black and low income, and it is very much part of their eugenics plan. That's how Planned Parenthood was started. Margaret Sanger, right? She wanted to abort black babies and sterilize black mothers. That was her goal. This is all stemming from a eugenics believer.
Yeah,
Anyways, this is messed up, and we're gonna move on.
Is that the whole story? Is that the whole story?
That's the whole story.
Well, that's most of the story.
That's most of the story. So okay.
Yeah, we touch on a little more later on. But anyway, we'll move on to the North story 2. This one's a winner too. A truck from Mexico was carrying enough drugs to kill every person in the state of Texas. While Congress remains deadlocked on finding a bill with 2 weeks left to go, it appears a deal for border security won't be reached. The Democrats refuse to support any bill that even partially funds a wall. Coincidentally, this week we're given further evidence that the situation at the border is a crisis. Drug trafficking into the U.S. is on the rise.
Fentanyl is a synthetic opioid that is 50 times more potent than heroin. 50 times more potent than heroin, and 100 times more potent than morphine. It is so potent, in fact, that just 2 milligrams can be fatal.
That's a lot of damage.
That's a lot of damage, but very little milligrams. Border Patrol stopped a truck carrying enough fentanyl to kill 57 million people. They were able to catch and confiscate the fentanyl before it entered the U.S. in what was the largest fentanyl bust ever made in history.
Street value for the fentanyl is over $102 million, which seems kind of like a cheap price to kill 57 million people. The CBD officers arrested the smuggler, a Mexican national, who attempted to drive the drugs across the border. In addition to the steep increase in fentanyl being captured at the border, there's also a 25% increase in heroin and a 25% increase in meth, and that's just what we've caught. These drugs are a cancer on our society and are costing us American lives. Maybe it's time we stop playing games and just fund border security. I don't know, what do you think, Dyer, with some electronic dogs or something?
Yeah, electronic dogs, or maybe, this is a crazy idea, how about a physical barrier?
What?
What?
Outrageous. That's immoral.
That is immoral. How dare I suggest such a thing? I am so outraged with myself.
Just so you know, a wall, as far as drug smuggling things, people say, oh, well, they'll just dig under or dig over or go or ride a magic horse over it. They can say stuff like that. But the point of the matter is, every security expert that you speak to will tell you that any sort of physical barrier between point A and point B work, and it funnels people towards the official points of entry. They'll say that, oh, well, that'll only fund 264 miles of the wall. That's because you don't need a wall in certain areas, because the natural barriers between Mexico and the United States don't necessarily necessitate a Great Wall of China style type of wall. You can put up sections of the wall in certain places, and that would be just as good as if you had a wall all the way across.
Yes, they're not going to drive a truck full of fentanyl up a mountainside where there's no road.
Yeah, up a mountain, through the river, through about 50 miles of heavy thorn-laden brush. Yeah.
However, currently, so the physical barrier, it funnels people to ports of entry, but also slows people down and reduces how much they can carry and what they can go across the border with. Usually now with a barrier, you're not going with a vehicle, you're going just you on your feet, and then you have to take time to try to scale it or to go under it, and that gives Border Patrol more time to catch them. Because if they have no barrier, they just walk, and if they don't get there in time, they're gone. They blend into the population, they're gone. Right now, we have areas where there is literally no barrier at all, and they can walk across, and if the Border Patrol is not passing at that moment, they do not get caught. And whatever they're carrying on them, weapons, explosives, or drugs, it's now in the country.
Oh, God. Dave Youngson with a super chat for £2 says, was the fentanyl to give the women abortions? Give to the women for abortions?
That's dark. Also, guys
dark.
In the chat talking about the robo-doggos. I think we're thinking about two different styles. I mean, you're thinking like search and destroy doggos, and I'm thinking like the kind that are sniffing for drugs. That's what I was referring to.
I was thinking of that little one where you say "Oi day" and it's like "arf arf arf arf" comes to you.
Oh, right, the Japanese style.
I think that was slightly less effective, actually.
The kawaii style. I don't think we need kawaii doggos.
No. No. What we need, if we can't have a wall, is one of those mosquito fences that has lasers. And it can determine which is the male and the female mosquito, and it zaps them.
Oh,
We just need to find one that like determines whether it's a citizen or not.
Well,
Zap.
You must be this high to get zapped by the mosquito.
Yeah. What we need is to invest money into gorillas that throw sharks with lasers attached to their heads.
There you go. I'd fund that.
Hellraiser Zalon has $5 Monopoly money. I fully endorse a minefield in Robo-Doggos for the border.
Down with
How much money is that?
Well, I don't know. Minefields are pretty bad, man.
It's Canadian $5.
Yeah.
That helps me.
Canadian Tire money. You can
2 entries.
Okay.
2 entries into the Dreamkeeper raffle. Good job, buddy.
Is that like $350?
all I know is you can use it at Canadian Tire to redeem a discount coupon, or you can pay the ice cream man if he's riding on a bicycle.
Well, the point is
an
with
Ontario
the wall
thing, maybe.
Just one more word about the wall. You got basically what you'd do is you'd funnel them to the areas where there isn't a wall. You'd have drones in the air looking with forward-looking infrared, and you could tell when a group is trying to make its way over the wall. They're delayed getting over the wall, and it gives the Border Patrol time to respond. That's all it's for.
Yeah, and if there are any cameras, they'll be stopped for a moment, and you get a good shot of their mug, and then you'll be able to locate them.
Well, because
it's not the physical barrier.
Go ahead, buddy.
The physical barrier gives them a little more time for that freaking Hellfire missile to hit.
Oh God, no! But you'll break the physical barrier. Don't do it.
Drones.
You know, I wasn't opposed to what you're saying. It was just all about the physical barrier bit getting broken.
Right.
Laszlo says, just let Boston Dynamics release a bunch of robots around the border, and that should just freak the living shit out of anyone getting close. It's true.
Ring, 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 ring.
Well, they got the one that does backflips now. You just have them doing bat flips on top of a hilltop overlooking Mexico or something.
Too good.
It's the Terminator. All right, buddies.
So, I mean, there is one negative to having a physical barrier that I think this is how Trump is wrong. Okay, it's racist. Let's move on to the next story. Just kidding, it's not.
Well, on to more MAGA topics. MAGA hate crime hoax. There's been a story of an alleged MAGA hate crime making the rounds through media. Stories about Jussie Smollett, who's a well-known actor and co-creator of the show Empire, being the victim of an alleged hate crime at the hands of 2 Trump supporters. The story is a little bit strange, just to say the least. Most media sources are reporting the story as though it's fact. But the accusations thus far are based on nothing more than the statements of Mr. Smollett and little to no physical evidence. And with that in mind, we're going to go over what we know and what is alleged doesn't make sense about the story, and why the media shouldn't be reporting it as fact.
First, Smollett reported he received a threatening letter on the 21st of January. It contained a white powder. The letter sparked an FBI investigation that is ongoing, and that determined that the white powder was harmless aspirin powder. This may or may not be related to the alleged attack 8 days later on the 29th.
On the 29th of January, Smollett was in downtown Chicago in the early morning. Multiple times, Smollett reported that he was attacked at around 2 a.m. by 2 men wearing ski masks of unknown race. He claimed they called him racist and homophobic insults. They threw a chemical liquid on him that he thought was bleach and put a rope around his neck. During the attack, Smollett claims he was on the phone with his manager, who heard what happened.
This alleged attack happened at a 5-minute walk from a Subway, where he was seen on camera eating at 2:15 a.m. This has yet to be explained, as it conflicts with the timeline of the supposed attack. At some point around 2 a.m., 15 minutes before he's seen eating at the Subway, his manager, Brandon Z. Moore, called the police. Smollett apparently did not want to call the police for some reason. This would be a strange behavior for someone who'd just been assaulted.
Yeah, because, filing a false police report is actually a crime.
Yeah.
What? I thought that was standard operating procedure. What's even stranger, 42 minutes later at 2:42 a.m., the police arrived at his apartment to investigate, and they found Smollett still wearing the rope around his neck. They observed...
I'm a victim with this thing. I just want to keep it on. It's a trophy.
They observed it to be a thin clothesline that appeared to be brand new, and it was tied like a noose. But like how one would tie a tie? What would be your first reaction?
Are you kidding?
It might have been.
And a Windsor knot.
Yeah.
What would
How
be your
did they
first
tie
reaction?
a Windsor knot around someone's head? Why would they choose that knot?
Well, I wonder, maybe because he was wondering how to tie it, and he tied it on himself because he probably wears a tie a lot on the show Empire. Really gets the old noggin jogging, doesn't it?
What is a knot that someone knows how to put on themselves that they may have practiced over and over again throughout their life, that it would be innate and easy knot for them to tie? Maybe if they wear a tie on a regular basis, they would be used to that motion, that muscle memory of making that kind of knot. It would definitely not be what someone who was trying to intimidate someone would do. They wouldn't take the time to make a Windsor knot without wearing it themselves. You know, you wouldn't make a Windsor knot on someone else, but without that person, just to make a knot to then put around someone's head. Think about making a Windsor knot without it being around someone's neck, and how weird that would be, and how it wouldn't make sense if you're trying to scare them to do that.
See, the first reaction of anybody that has, when they have a rope put around your neck, most people would want to take it off.
Yeah, immediately.
Not leave it hanging there. Like some sort of piece of costume jewelry, you know,
like a trophy.
Look at this. Look at these MAGA guys gave me. Most people also know the smell of bleach, and you'd think that both he and the police would be able to identify that smell.
But they weren't sure what he said. A chemical. Didn't know what it was for sure.
Was it the properties of hydrogen and oxygen mixed together?
Possibly.
It could have been H2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. It could have been.
That dihydrogen monoxide is a terrible one to get on you.
It can kill you.
It'll absorb into your skin, and it goes like all through your bloodstream into your liver and stuff.
Yeah.
Careful.
Makes up like 60% of your body.
It displaces like so much of your cells.
Yeah, if you get in your system, it will eventually work its way to your brain, and then untold damage can be done then.
100% of people that come in contact with dihydrogen monoxide end up dead.
Yeah,
but none of them that come in contact with it are dehydrated.
No.
Right.
No.
Strange.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah. So
silver lining, right? Silver lining.
Yeah. So Smollett did not mention to the police officers that the attackers had. Smollett did not mention to the police officers that the attackers had yelled, "This is MAGA count. This is MAGA country."
Yeah, do it again. Do it again from the top. From the top.
From the top.
Smollett did not mention to the police officers that the attackers had yelled, "This is MAGA country," during the attack, but his manager reported it later. When he was asked by TMZ if his manager was correct, Smollett agreed. It was strange that this wasn't something that he would have thought was strange enough to report in the first place. Oddly enough, several news outlets reported that the attackers were wearing MAGA hats, which Smollett never said, and he later confirmed that they were not. But news outlets reported it, that they were wearing MAGA hats, even though he never said it, and it was never reported by anyone other than themselves.
Well, it's just as good as wearing a white hood. MAGA hats.
Right.
And investigators later asked for Smollett's phone to confirm he was on the call with his manager and also to confirm his location. And, well, imagine this. He refused.
What?
Right? No, you can't have my phone. However, he did offer to obtain call records for the investigators.
Which wouldn't show location. Which would not show.
Yeah, and it wouldn't show location. It could be suspicious. Or it possibly could mean he just doesn't want the police to see his search history,
Ooh.
Maybe.
That's throwing some unfounded accusations out there.
Hey, you never know. Hey, I'm saying there's other possibilities for why he doesn't want to share his phone. Other possibilities.
Or maybe his Google search history says like, what do MAGA dudes yell at their victims?
Obviously, MAGA country.
This is MAGA country. Dang you.
Yeah. How to stage a racial incident. That's what his search history says, probably.
Are you insinuating this might not be a fully factual story he's told?
No, I'm just straight out saying it. I'm not insinuating
anything. No, it's just like straight up. That is a fabrication.
I don't know, guys. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I think this story makes perfect sense.
In MAGA country.
In MAGA country. So the police then gathered all the camera footage from public and private cameras, hundreds of cameras in the area, to try to find these alleged attackers. Being as it was 2 a.m. in Chicago at a freezing 9 degrees at the middle of the night, the street was very empty. They were able to locate the time and place where he claimed that he was attacked.
10 or 15 minutes before the alleged attack, Smollett was seen walking away from 2 white men, and they were walking away from him. Not running, just walking. They didn't interact, and they were walking in opposite directions. The police released the picture of these 2 men, saying they were persons of interest. They are likely wanted for questioning to see if they saw any other person, but they're not suspects.
Shortly thereafter, he moved out of frame for 1 minute, appearing back in frame with a rope around his neck. If he got attacked, it took only a minute. They were never seen on camera entering the area or leaving the area, either on foot or by vehicle. This was easy to see due to the complete lack of people and vehicles out at that night.
This is
So in other words, dude's a freaking liar.
I don't know. Hey, maybe they just really good at avoiding the cameras.
Yeah, because they also got their MAGA stealth on.
Like, yeah, because they're full on. They're full on leaf ninjas. They're like Donald Trump's freaking secret ninja army in Chicago. Another strange factor was that he was only attended the hospital after speaking with police, far after the incident had ended, and appeared to only have a scratch on his right cheek. What the hell's that?
Maybe that's your Steam saying, "Hey, we finally connected."
Don't anger me. Don't anger me.
Okay. I figure these stories would get you angry enough as it is.
Oh, they do. They do.
Yeah. So all these factors added up paint quite an odd picture. There is no solid proof that he's lying, but also no evidence that this attack took place at all. Furthermore, many people are confused by the claim that his attackers yelled out, "This is MAGA country." This is strange because supporters of MAGA, or Make America Great Again, are not all white or all straight. The supporters of MAGA see MAGA as an inclusive statement about nationalism and culture, not race and gender. It would not make sense for a supporter of MAGA to yell it alongside racist and anti-gay insults.
But if you were a leftist and you only saw it through the lens of, the left,
yep,
that's probably what you would
like.
associate.
What are their slogans anyway? I never actually listened to them to see what their viewpoints are. Maybe they just say it's MAGA country or some shit, and then
yeah, that's it. That's it. Let's go with that. That's what him and his manager were talking about.
Yeah, let's go with that.
Dave
MAGA
Youngston
country.
for £2. Dave Youngston for £2. MAGA hats now come with a stealth camouflage suit. Yes, they do. How did you know?
Yeah,
Clay,
mine totally did.
Right, I couldn't see you earlier. That must have been it.
Yeah, that must have been it. It works great though. Seriously, I've been working out the bugs, but let's try it out.
Wow! Whoa! I'm impressed.
The problem
it's
is
like the One Ring.
The problem is that you got no use of the other hand. You know, your hand when you're doing it because you got to hold the button the whole time. Dang.
Oh, so you can't fap. You can't fap in stealth mode.
Well,
That's what it's for.
Well, I mean, if you need two hands to fap, then yeah, okay. But
I mean, maybe you got two-handed sword.
You don't. You don't.
No, dude, I'm a gnome.
He's working with a short sword.
Dagger. All right.
Dagger.
What do we got? Where are we at, man? I got all screwed up because I think I got my Steam working.
Yeah. So you kind of already said this next paragraph. You know who would think, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Well yeah. I'll just read it anyway. You know who'd think of using MAGA alongside racist and anti-gay insults? Someone who thinks that MAGA supporters are racist and homophobic? It's the left that sees MAGA as a symbol of bigotry and white supremacy, not conservatives.
No.
This story, well, something stinks. It smells like a hoax to me. What do you think?
Yeah.
Smells like hoax.
Hoax.
Hoax time.
Apparently, even Solmet. How you say that?
Smollett.
So even Smollett. Sorry. So apparently, even Smollett's co-creator of Empire is also a bit suspicious. Originally, he posted a comment in support of Smollett and condemning the alleged attack, but has since removed that tweet. Does he, someone who is closer to Smollett than anyone else, who might have spoken to him, who might know something, might he know something we don't know?
Yeah, like really, a slogan that MAGA people don't even know.
That really activates the almonds, doesn't it? Really just gets you start thinking.
And also a journalist with a source in the Chicago police put out a tweet saying that this story had some conflicting evidence and seemed like a hoax. Now, they also removed their tweet later on, possibly because that information was not supposed to be released yet. But
all the gossip sites are really pushing this narrative. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. It sounds like this story has got a high likelihood of being a hoax just because he did not act like someone who was assaulted. He had the behavior is extremely strange. Now we don't know for sure just because we have to wait for the rest of the evidence to come out. But let's just say I'm a hashtag skeptical.
And on a similar note, the writer of this article is learning to code.
Yes.
Wow. All right, everybody in chat, press X to doubt the story.
Of course, if he really was a victim of a hate crime like he describes, I condemn it. It's wrong, right? But
of course,
I'm thinking this didn't happen at all, though.
Well, why do it? Why do it is the question. What's the motive?
What?
Why lie or why?
Why make up an entire story about getting beat up and having
attention?
You know what it really sounds like? I mean, it sounds like he's told his manager something, or maybe he just because Empire is not doing that great in the ratings lately. People are kind of like, Empire. Maybe he just wanted a publicity stunt. They didn't quite think it through, or maybe they were drunk and they decided, let's do it. Let's do it.
Hey.
So, yeah, you know what would get us more ratings on whatever frickin' Hulu or Netflix, whatever the hell it's on? if I got beat up by MAGA dudes and they said, it's MAGA country.
If I put my conspiracy hat on, I would think that it sounds like his manager came up with a great idea, a great scheme, and he's begrudgingly going along with it.
I couldn't tell the race. I couldn't tell the race in the fight. Were they white? Yeah, they were white. What? Come on, man.
He fought like a white guy.
If he was invested in this lie, he would have sold it a lot better. He would have acted more like the victim rather than just being a confused adult who's just kind of going along with it.
Oh, man. This is retardation. Anyway, how about our raffle tonight looks like it's going pretty well. Yeah. Guys, if you want to get in on this, we're going to be giving away a graphic novel tonight called Dreamkeepers. That's one of our good friends, Dave and Liz Lilly. That's $2 to enter the any super chat or Streamlabs or bits on Twitch.
We haven't been getting any love from Streamlabs tonight. I'm getting all the love over on YouTube. You know, YouTube, they love it when we give them most of the donations away.
Yep.
Yep. Hey, I'm
throwing that out there.
You can tell he's an actor and not a writer. He'd come up with a better story.
Yeah, right.
I would say that normally, but most writers in Hollywood are pretty shite right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I just watched Maleficent with my daughter. Yeah. Oh, how is that related? Hey. I don't know.
Clyde is the king. Clyde is the king of non sequiturs, and here we go. Next story. Right. What do you think?
Next
story. This one's great. Trump sticks it to Kamala Harris. No, not that. Not that way, you perverts. California Democratic Senator Dianne Feinstein and Kamala Harris are really pissed off at President Trump. I know what you're thinking. What else is new? But this time, the reason they're pissy is rather funny. Trump has renominated 2 conservative California judges to the very liberal Ninth Circuit Federal Court of Appeals, despite opposition from the 2 whammon. The 2 judges didn't meet the liberal litmus test that California demands of its judges. So instead of finding 2 other more moderate individuals, Trump just renominated the same 2 men.
That's
the litmus test. The litmus test consists of being anti-capitalist, pro-baby murder, and wishing to be sworn in on the Quran. You know, the Democrat platform. All jokes aside, they would have blocked basically any conservative or centrist. They don't just want justices that judge based on existing law. They want judicial activism.
In a joint statement late Wednesday, Feinstein and Harris said, "We're deeply disappointed that the White House has chosen to renominate Daniel Collins and Kenneth Lee to the Ninth Circuit. We made clear our opposition to these individuals and told the White House we wanted to work together to come to a consensus on a new package of nominees." That's right, guys. Yeah, now they want to work together.
Because they're so good at that.
Now they want to negotiate. Now they feel like being agreeable. Never mind the fact that they've been obstructionists with every other policy and nomination that the president has tried to pass. Never mind the fact that they speak poorly of him and accuse him of all manner of degeneracy. Now they have something that they want to negotiate on, and so he's at fault. Mm-hmm. Trump's message to the 2 ladies is crystal clear. It's a big fat middle finger, and it's huge.
Yep. Huge. And the funny thing is, he loses nothing because right now it's their state that has less judges than it could have. It doesn't really affect the federal government or Trump in any way that they have 2 less judges. They have no negotiating power here.
He's just going to wait till they go on vacation so they can't vote against him.
Wow. Exactly. This was just a delaying tactic from Feinstein and Harris. They know that Trump won't submit a far leftist like they would prefer. They just want to pester Trump by making him have to search and vet endless amounts of judges, wasting his time. This also prevents there being a conservative judge making decisions in their state. All they should be doing is ensuring that the judges have a record of accurately interpreting the law. That's all they're supposed to do. That is not their goal. They just want to obstruct and harass Trump. Trump hilariously refuses to play their game.
Yeah.
Yes, hilariously.
Basically what they did, they said, "No, we don't want these guys." So Trump says, "Okay, guys, come here." And he gave him a couple of Groucho Marx glasses and fake mustaches and says, "How about these 2 guys? You like these guys? Vote on these guys." Next thing you know, they're gonna turn them down too. He's gonna come back, give them a couple of fake rainbow afro wigs, send them back. Vote for these guys. Might work with a rainbow afro wig.
It might do.
Well, that was a short one, but pretty funny. But on with our liberal craziness story tonight. Democratic presidential hopeful wants white people to pay reparations. That's the truth. Author and Democratic presidential hopeful Marianne Williamson, I never heard of her either, said in an interview Thursday she's running for the White House because America needs a moral and spiritual awakening. What kind of spiritual awakening is she referring to, you ask? She wants us to get woke on social justice by taking money from those dirty white people, them damn cave beasts, those Hugh Whites, and giving it to minorities. In the CNN interview, she called for reparations for slavery with $10 billion a year being distributed over a decade. She said, I believe $100 billion given to a council to apply this money to economic projects and education projects of renewal for that population is a debt to be paid.
Hypothetically, if you did pay this, as soon as you finish paying it, they would just ask for more. Because it's not about actually, righting a wrong, because the people who were wronged are long dead. Giving it to the family members of those who were wronged, who were themselves not been wronged, is ludicrous. And they just want free handouts. That's all it is. And I say, no, you're dumb.
Yeah, now, how did that work out for the natives in Canada?
Yeah, right?
They're passionate.
They're passionate about getting handouts.
So now, if that terrible and bigoted idea, because it is a racist idea, from the get-go, if that terrible and bigoted idea isn't enough of a reason to vote for Marina Williamson.
Woohoo.
But wait!
Wow.
There's more! Hang on to your seat, baby! Cause this one's a screamer!
Williamson's platform includes a new the Green New Deal, which is going to cost our economy billions and billions and force lots of companies out of. Yeah,
it's not going to cost our economy anything. It's going to shatter our economy.
Right?
Sorry, destroy our economy.
It doesn't cost us anything. It just basically does away with the economy.
Yeah.
And soon we'll be trading patchouli and glass beads for food.
Which will make it pretty hard to pay that $10 billion reparations every year if we don't have an economy, because you've just destroyed it. And then universal background checks for gun owners, and also free college for technical schools, which, I mean, who's going to pay for that? We're not going to have an economy with no tax dollars, so how are we going to pay for those schools? I guess the teachers are going to just work for free. And this is all according to her campaign website.
It's so funny.
These people clearly don't know how, any economy functions, like any market functions. Like even just the last one you mentioned. If you gave out tech school for free, like right now, there's a shortage for technical trades and stuff, which means people like me make good money, and it's lucrative to get into the market. If you give it away for free, everyone gets into the market tanks straight up. Like that whole sector of the economy just tank. No, you can't do that.
Demand.
I just want to know, are they trying to did they take a drunk bet one night and say who could say the dumbest fucking thing when they announced their political campaigns? Because I thought Ocasio-Cortez was taking the cake, but some of these people are telling her to hold their beer.
Yeah.
I mean,
hold my beer. Watch me embarrass everyone.
Hey, Slowpoke, good to have you back, buddy.
Well, you don't generally join the Democrat Party because you are a real scholar in economics.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. Look at Bernie.
A lot of them get into the Democratic politics because they're activists for social justice or something along those lines. They're definitely the younger ones.
Not they want to get rich.
I just don't think that it's fair that so many people are living so high on the hog.
On the hog.
When everybody's struggling to pay the data plans on their cell phones, we need free data for everybody. YouTube consumes too much data. YouTube is making too much data. We need to take away the data from YouTube is what we need to do.
Bernie, why'd you get kicked off that hippie compound?
Well, that was a difference of opinion that we had. So
I heard you were too lazy to work.
It was a good thing because now I'm in government.
Yeah. It's kind of funny. There was a recent debate on Sinatra Says between a capitalist and a socialist, and the socialist is like, we got to give everyone the same wage, which will free up people to do whatever the hell they want, like do art and stuff. And like, yeah, well, if you give everyone a guaranteed wage and let them do whatever the hell they want, who's going to make the paints? Who's going to make the paintbrushes? Who's going to produce products?
Yeah, it totally disincentivizes anyone for doing crappy jobs. I mean, the reason why linemen make way awesome money is because you can have your limbs blown off by touching it.
you know what I mean? The funny thing is that with that statement, look at Eastern Europe under the Soviet bloc. They weren't known for their flashy architecture and art styles.
No, that's a great point.
We're talking about gray concrete blocks.
I am the man who assembles the blocks.
It's just the fact. If you have no incentive, no benefit for working harder, for excelling, then it's human nature to not excel and often to not try at all.
Yeah, I mean, you're gonna do what's easiest. But that's why the hard jobs pay so well. You know what I mean? Like if you got to go through a bunch of years of school and a crappy apprenticeship where you got like old ass dudes just making your life a miserable hell. That's the barrier to entry to making a shitload of money later in your life. It's just the way it is.
Well, moving on from that. I've got a pretty good story. Coming up.
All right.
Yes. Every time you say you have a good story, you're wrong.
not that kind of good story. This is an actual good one. It's like the Trump one, nominating different
I like
same
that.
Judges.
Trium just said in the chat, he said socialism equals greed, and there's no other way to actually sum it down to the base core principle. They say that capitalists are greedy because they're trying to do all this shit.
Socialism later in the show.
Okay, I guess I'll save it.
Rika. Streamlabs.
Yes, he says. I guess I work to throw my money at other furries. that and buy a sweet Direwolf merch.
Throwing shade at me.
Cheers, buddy.
How much was that?
That was for
$4.
That was $4.
$4.
2 inches.
Thank you for throwing the money and the shade at me. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Good. Throwing shade. I'm just catching up with the lingo. Yeah, shade's a thing. Okay.
Yeah, shade.
Throwing shade at me.
ICE founds a new university to catch illegals. The University of Farmington had no staff, no professors, no curriculum, and no classes. What it did have, however, was hundreds of foreign students who may now face deportation because of their willingness to participate in what authorities described as a pay-to-stay scheme in which they could live and work in the U.S. under false pretenses.
This Institute of Higher Learning, quote unquote, was founded by the Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, who were secretly running the fake university in Flemington, Michigan. The purpose? Cracking down on rampant immigration fraud through the use of student visas.
Well, Dyer, it is an Institute of Higher Learning. I mean, they did get caught. Invested into the fake scheme, so that'll learn them. ICE's awesome. Fake university led to the arrest of 8 student recruiters who participated in a conspiracy to help at least 600 foreign nationals stay in the U.S. illegally by committing visa fraud.
Oh, snap.
Stephen Francis, a special agent in charge of ICE's Homeland Security Investigation Office in Detroit, said these suspects aided hundreds of foreign nationals to remain in the United States illegally by helping to portray them as students, which they most certainly were not.
I know that there are a few bleeding hearts out there in the audience who might be thinking that this sounds like a dirty trick. Close to entrapment. For you guys, I ask that you take comfort in the knowledge that all the students enrolled in Farmington were aware that the program was illegal and they were willingly breaking the law.
Oh.
Yeah, they made sure of that.
Okay.
It's not like they didn't know, I didn't notice I wasn't taking classes full time and that I signed that I was taking classes full time as a requirement for entry into the country. Whoops, didn't notice.
Dang.
No.
So it's a way to circumvent our visa system because the U.S. thinks we're getting people who are educated and are using our actually adding to our economy by paying into our universities, right? And possibly they might stay here now educated, right? We think we're getting something out of it, but in fact, we're getting someone who's coming here as like an additional work visa, where they're coming here and doing low wage work with no education.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, basically just taking away jobs from kids.
Yes.
Like
basically.
just got out of school, like high school. I need to gather some work experience before I get into a career or maybe go back to college. There's nothing open because every fast food joint is packed full of people from outside the country. What happened here? That's just the way it is.
Dyer, are you proud of yourself?
Yes, I am.
Just checking.
What did I miss? What did I miss?
Don't look behind the curtain. Move on to the next topic.
Oh, good Lord.
Oh, I need to catch up.
Here we go. We're back to this guy. This fucking guy. Virginia Governor Ralph Northam is having a rough week. Mm-hmm. First, as reported in one of our earlier stories, he openly advocated for the killing of infants post-birth.
Yeah. Real rough. Could have happened to anyone, really. You win some, you lose some, you advocate for infanticide. Life goes on.
In more sane times, it'd be enough of a misstep to end most political careers. Instead, Democrats and abortion advocates either defended him or deflected from the gravity of his stance, like this Tucker Carlson video. You guys check it out.
Monica Klein is a founding partner at Seneca Strategies. She joins us today. Monica, thanks a lot for coming on.
Yeah.
I'm sure you describe yourself as pro-choice. I bet a lot of people watching right now think of themselves as pro-choice. So I'm not attacking you for that. But I wonder what you think of what Dr. Northam, the governor of Virginia, just said.
A word yet.
That when he described the child as an infant, is born, there's a point where the mother and the physician can decide whether to kill the infant or not. What do you think of that?
Look, Tucker, I understand that you want to go back to a time where Roe v. Wade was illegal, where women were having back alley abortions, and they were using
stop.
to have abortions, which is...
What did that have to do with the question he asked?
It had nothing to do with the question. She threw up a straw man right away. Quick, raise the straw man shields. He's asking an uncomfortable question.
I know you want to go back to a time when children can't be murdered when they come out of the womb.
No, you just want to control our bodies, you sexist pig.
No, she's like, red alert, deflect your shields.
Yeah.
Deflect.
Wah, wah, wah.
Oh, we got K-Box cheering for 200 bits.
200 bits, thank you.
Awesome. Take it, sir. Take it.
Tanka.
How much is that?
Let's go on because this gets even better.
Yes, let's move it along.
Actually, what's barbaric?
I'm giving you time to make a real argument. I'm not arguing for the repeal of Roe v. Wade. I'm a very straightforward person.
That is what you're essentially saying.
Actually, no, that's not what I'm arguing. And please don't be tiresome. The governor of Virginia, who's a rising star of the Democratic Party, just said this. There's pending legislation that mirrors it, and I'm asking you what you think of it. That's it. I'm not here to debate Roe v. Wade.
I think that right now, reproductive health care is under attack by the Republican Party. 72% of Americans support the right to choose, and yet we have Trump and we have sexual predator Kavanaugh trying to repeal Roe v. Wade and trying to take away our control over our own bodies.
Sexual predator Kavanaugh? Are you kidding me? So... nothing was ever proven. No, he was never convicted of any crime, but now they're just going with that lie.
Yeah, just like quite the contrary, actually. Like they check his record, and he turns out to be a stand-up dude his whole life.
And two of his accusers actually retracted their accusations.
Actually, all of them have. They haven't freaking.
Well, yeah, because they don't want to be sued by a guy who's a judge and knows the law.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're continuing calling him a sexual abuser when he's not. This is a straight-up lie and deflection.
For saying that, this woman could be sued for saying that. That's slander.
She's thrown up, I think 3 straw men right off the bat.
Yeah.
She hasn't answered the question. She didn't even address the question. She's pretending like she's answering questions that he didn't ask.
Yeah. And it's really telling if she's refusing this hard to not answer the question, it means she has no moral defense for it. Not that there is one. But
no.
She doesn't have it.
Yeah, she's just deflecting. She's like, she's got her tennis racket.
Yeah, check it out. Keep going. Keep going, because she plays whack-a-mole here.
Babies, this isn't about healthcare. This is about you attempting to control women's bodies.
Okay, please don't be a robot. Monica, you're smarter than that. This is the
I love
Virginia
Tucker. I just got to say, I love Tucker because he says shit like that. Don't play that game. You're smarter than that. I know you are.
I just want to know what you think of it. Is that okay? Does that bother you? It's a sincere question. This just happened.
Okay, it bothers me that you
look, stop it! Oh my God, she just fucking.
Okay.
Did you hear that? Okay, Dad. Good Lord.
Like totally, you totally get what I'm saying, don't you? I'm talking about you trying to take away Roe versus Wade.
That's not what he's talking about at all.
Like totally.
In fact, the vast majority of people who are pro-choice are also, so that 70% figure she mentioned, vast majority of them not okay with post-birth abortions. I mean, infanticide.
No, people are not. And that's the thing. Like I was saying before, people who traditionally are pro-choice don't buy into this crap. They're not into that. And when they learn of it, they're like instantly like, okay, well, I'm not voting for that. I'll switch to pro-life as long as that's what they're advocating.
But please keep defending this horrible policy, because that will guarantee the Republicans take not only keep the presidency, but also take the House and Senate. Please, Democrats, pile on your defense of this indefensible policy, please.
Yeah, continue on with the video there, buddy.
What you're doing, you are. The Republican Party right now is working overtime to repeal Roe v. Wade and to take away choice in every single state.
I wonder if you think you're convincing anybody, or if your unwillingness to address what just happened today on tape that we just played is a sign that you can't defend this. And if you can't defend it, I wonder why that is. Have you paused?
That's my point. Are you actually trying to convince anybody at this point? You're just towing the line, and you're just not admitting that you're wrong when you clearly, you're not defending their position. You're not defending your own position. You're just saying talking points. Who's being convinced here? Like you go on Fox News. Do you think by acting like this you're gonna convince Fox News watchers? Seriously?
Nah.
Like you look like an ass. You're making anyone who supports what you support like an ass, and you're actually doing the opposite of the intended effect. You're actually converting people over to maybe the pro-life side of things. That's my point.
Yeah. I mean, I've been pretty moderate about abortion rights. I mean, it's something I really it's really a sticky subject. You know what I mean?
It's super sticky. But I don't support this craziness of killing babies after the third trimester and all that stuff. But like, I'm not as so extreme where I say like, no, you can't even have like the after party.
The actions of the Democrats have actually completely turned me over to pro-life.
Totally.
Because these innocents need to be defended against these degenerates. Period. Oh, we have a super chat from Slowpoke Garcia for $2. It's all they can do. That's why they call them NPCs. That is correct. And you know what? We might as well just go ahead and play
the rest of
this.
To ask yourself, as an American, as a person, what do I think of that?
As a woman, what do I think of it? Have you asked yourself why you spend so much time talking about this rather than thinking about why your party is trying to repeal Roe v. Wade and control women's bodies? Right now, there are 7 states where there's only 1 abortion clinic. Okay, there are 4 states with children where we would.
Only one place to kill children.
Women cannot get reproductive health care. This is
like totally. Oh my God, what is she talking about?
Single say in that.
Wow. Do you think that you're making a case that most people agree with, that it's okay to abort a child in the 3rd trimester
Tucker,
for
you
no...
can keep trying to put words in my mouth and keep trying to say that the Democratic
Party
is hurting
children. Put words in their mouth?
can keep trying to have an argument with someone who's just thrown out talking points. It's freaking retarded, this whole conversation.
It is ridiculous.
Party is the one that is tearing families apart at the border and allowing
children.
children.
What's that got to do with the price of tea in China, you dumb bitch?
Harming children.
The tea in China.
Wow. Let me
wow
one
was
quick
right.
question.
Wow.
This is obviously a pointless conversation. And I think less of you after I have to say, but it's an honest question. Have you thought about it? Do you have a real answer to what the governor of Virginia said, or are you going to throw yet another talking point at me? I mean, have you actually thought about it? Will you answer that question at all?
I have thought about it, and I am telling you that your party is attempting to change the conversation about Roe v. Wade and take control of women's bodies.
I've like totally thought about it. I think about it all the time. This is a thing that I do on the regular. What are you talking about, Tucker?
This is not a woman's body. This is
I've always got thoughts in my head.
You pretend that
I don't think she has any thoughts in her head.
When you're completely fine with ICE tearing families apart and children dying in federal custody.
Monica, thank you. I appreciate it.
Oh my God.
No, you don't.
No one appreciates her. I love Tucker. He's just, he's so good because he'll bring on these freaking retards just to show people. Yeah, the people that are defending this are freaking retarded. Like
light is the best disinfectant.
We try the best to find the most intelligent ones, but these are the ones that are willing to come on the show. Here you go.
This lady is in charge of an abortion advocacy group. She's the head honcho. She's the founding member.
Yeah. That tells you something, doesn't it?
Oh my God.
Wow. That's our opposition.
You guys are in favor of like killing babies at the border, and like we just want to do it at home. What's the problem with that? Come on.
You know, it might feel strange that the people we argue against act completely retarded because they are, and you wonder, how is this even a competition? Then you realize that we're trying to reason, make logical arguments, whereas they are reasoning with their feelings.
They're not even feeling. I don't think that woman has a valid emotion in her body.
We've got a super chat from Slowpoke Garcia for $2. He says, NPC alert, NPC alert. I don't know what he's talking about, because that woman was clearly level-headed and thinking totally like totes.
Oh my gosh.
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
Jeez Louise.
Too good.
So yeah.
Too good.
Go ahead, Dyer.
All right. So yeah, if I were here, I wouldn't. If I were her, I wouldn't want to defend the baby murderer either. She just refused outright to discuss the issue and instead stuck to her talking points, trying to redirect the conversation to what she wanted to talk about.
As you guys witnessed, this woman literally said nothing to refute his words. She didn't answer his question. All she did was parrot her talking points and accuse Tucker and others of killing children instead of her. Instead of being embarrassed, the Democrats are calling this interview a win.
Yeah, and I can't believe that.
They actually say that. They're actually saying, that was a great interview. Did you see her? She just sat there.
Imagine how disconnected you had to be to look at that conversation and think that she had the better end of it.
I'm actually a little embarrassed for her and for them that they consider that a win.
Yeah.
I totally told that Tucker what was going on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I like totally schooled him. I don't know if you saw the interview, but it went really well for me.
What a dumb cunt. So brave.
Yeah. Yeah, real rough, One day you're like, I want to have some freedom to make decisions for my own body, and then the next day you're like arguing children don't deserve to have life at all if they're not wanted. Feel real bad for her. Real bad.
Yeah, but anyway, the story, back to Ralph Northam, because that's what the story's really about.
Right.
Ask yourself what could make his comments worse, the ones we heard earlier. How could he possibly make himself look more repugnant to everyone, including his own Democrat brethren.
Don't know.
Oh gosh, he'd have to do something crazy, like I don't know, wear blackface or something stupid like that.
Oh.
Well,
shit.
Oh.
That's awkward. Oh, that's awkward.
What's this? What's this? Is that a yearbook?
Ooh, what's this? Ooh, what's this?
Oh, yeah. Right. Ooh. Yeah.
Awkward.
How about appearing in blackface or in a KKK Klansman costume? That's him in one of the costumes, but we can't tell which because of the really offensive black skin tone.
And two wonderful options he has there. Is he the racist one wearing black face paint, or is he the racist wearing the KKK Klansman hood? Aren't options great?
Yes. They're both winners, aren't they?
I can see him there mopping the sweat off his brow with the cloth as he has to choose which button to push. Blackface or KKK outfit? Now, call me old-fashioned. Call me old-fashioned, guys, but advocating for the death of infants post-birth seems to be more disgusting than wearing an offensive costume.
Mm-hmm.
Northam, though, immediately apologized Friday for appearing in a racist yearbook photo, but that didn't stop people from both sides for calling him to resign.
Yeah.
Now, to be clear, I don't think any of us here would usually say someone should be punished for something they did a really long time ago that harmed no one, that was not intended to harm anyone, and that doesn't reflect their actions or opinions today. I think that you guys probably agree with that.
I agree.
Of course.
I agree.
Yeah, okay.
Like,
However,
this
in
doesn't
this case-
bother me.
Yeah.
It's just funny. Because
Yeah.
this is the kind of thing that if it were to surface about a conservative, it would be like, oh, no, you're done. You know what I mean?
However,
I want to call them out. I want to call them out, but at the same time, just be like, you know, you can still keep your job.
Yeah. However, I do find it funny, and I take a little pleasure in laughing at the fact that he's going to lose his job after he did the same damn stuff to Republicans, like attacking Kavanaugh.
Yeah.
For his yearbook.
Yeah.
When he didn't actually do anything wrong. So if he loses his job over it, I'm not going to be upset because it's kind of like just desserts. He did it to someone else, and now it's being done to him. You know, live by the sword, die by the sword type of thing, right?
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah, exactly. But I don't like digging up old shit that was like you can't compare today's standards to the way it was in another era. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where like
you don't
that
understand the
wasn't.
context of that.
Yeah, that. I'm sure that they're not like, yeah, let's go out and, you know, do racist stuff. It was just like a whatever.
Yeah.
Plus, you don't have to lynch the guy over it.
Yeah. That'd be pretty racist. So look at the Covington video, right? That was actual live video, and out of context, it was taken the wrong direction. This is a still photo. We have zero idea of this context, and it's also many years ago.
Yeah.
This
like 28 years ago, dude.
Yeah. There's a very good possibility. This is not actually intended to be racist at all in the context of the time. Really, we didn't have that big of an aversion to blackface back then.
Well, that's it. Like, for all I know, it could be intended to make fun of racists.
Yeah, don't know.
Hey, Clyde, check your Discord DMs, because I'm curious. I wonder what Jimmy Fallon and Jimmy Kimmel are saying about this.
Yeah, there's lots of liberals that have worn blackface in the attempt to mock racism or just to do a bit, and it wasn't considered racist. Every time someone wears blackface now, it's always racist. It's more of a recent occurrence.
Yeah, I need a web link if I want to share that. Sorry.
Oh, can't you just use the Discord link?
Open the original. Oh,
Copy link.
There we go. There it is. So who did it better, Jimmy Fallon or Jimmy Kimmel? Yikes!
I don't know.
Are they racist now?
They might be.
I don't know. I get maybe I don't get the history of the menstrual shows or whatever, but like, if I'm to understand it,
he said menstrual.
Yeah, isn't that what it's called?
Menstrual.
I'm joking.
I don't know. They're all having their menstrual cycle over it right now, but basically, like, weren't those old shows? They were depicting black people as something like a caricature of the black people.
Yes.
But this is putting black makeup on your face because you're actually impersonating somebody. Isn't that
right? That's different.
Is that not different?
Yes, it's the motive and the intent are very different. If you're trying to impersonate and accurately depict someone, that is different than trying to mock them.
Yeah.
Trying to make a caricature of them. Just because you put black paint on your face, it doesn't mean you have the same hatred or same intent. And it's ridiculous to say that it automatically does mean that. So moving on, though. Not everyone felt that way, apparently. Check out these tweets.
Oh, goodness.
We're ready?
Jennifer Rubin says, Dems need to move Northam out ASAP. Lieutenant Governor is dynamic, eloquent, African-American. Every hour or day that goes by makes the whole thing look worse.
Which, I mean, do you see anything wrong with her statement?
No.
What?
Other than calling for him to resign, do you see anything wrong with that?
Oh, she's saying that Lieutenant Governor is eloquent. Yeah, so he'd be a good replacement.
Right.
Yeah.
So go to the next. This is funny because, that seems reasonable. She's calling for Northam to resign and let his black Lieutenant Governor take over. Wait for it, though. A wild Alyssa Milano appears.
Uh-oh. What do we got here? Vince, you take this one.
Oh, well, I can't see it.
Oh, dang it. You're not looking at the screen? All right.
Oh, no,
This right here is what systematic, deep-rooted racism looks like. Recognize it, and I call it out, and call it out when you see it.
Damn, I didn't. When did she move to West Virginia?
I just had to throw that accent in there.
I didn't know that saying that the Lieutenant Governor was eloquent and dynamic and should have the job of governor is somehow racist.
Hey?
How dare you use those words about an African-American person?
You can't use positive words to describe an African-American.
Well, I wonder... Uh-oh.
Slobo Garcia says Robert Downey Jr. was blackface for the entire movie of Tropic Thunder. Yes, he was. Said that for
he went full. He went full retard.
He didn't go full retard. He told Ben Stiller not to go full retard.
Yeah. So I wonder if all that plastic surgery has contaminated her brain. I'm gonna need someone to explain to me how this is representative of systematic racism, because I got nothing.
What do you mean, you people?
Yeah, explain it to me there, Brother Clyde.
I can't. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Also, I'm confused by the statement. I mean, it's already done, but how is the statement systematic? She's saying that someone would be good for a job because they're dynamic and eloquent.
Yeah. Whatever.
Sorry, Alyssa Milano, you're retarded. You need to seek help.
Right over the deep end on that one.
So,
no, but you were good with Tony Danza, and you were definitely good in Commando with Shua-chan. He's my hero.
Is it possible she was referring to the governor being racist and not someone claiming that he should be replaced? Is that possible? Because this makes no sense whatsoever.
Clyde, wasn't that Ray Dong Chong in Commando?
Commando, Alyssa Milano was his daughter.
Oh, right. But she was on the...
Okay. Yeah, he's like, Jenny, you're my daughter.
You're my daughter, goddammit.
You're my daughter, goddammit.
You're that little chopper. But anyway, remember that apology that
you
Northam
motherfucker
gave that I mentioned earlier, the apology from Northam?
Yep.
Well, seeing that didn't work, Northam decided that he was a Jedi. That's right. He decided to use his newfound mastery of the Force to try a Jedi mind trick on the nation.
Northam now says that he was not in a racist 1984 yearbook photo of two men dressed in blackface and a Ku Klux Klan outfit, despite admitting he was in the picture a day earlier and that he does not intend on resigning.
That's where we are. This is the current year. A man can call for babies to be killed outside the womb, and people are okay with it. That same man can put on a costume that people find offensive, and everyone loses their mind. You might be thinking to yourself...
28 years ago! Sorry.
You might be thinking to yourself right now that this story couldn't be more sad and ridiculous. Well, guys, you'd be wrong. And also, Laszlo, you're right. He's no Jedi, not according to, like, you know, the actual canon. He's like a... What's that guy's name? The guy who did The Last Jedi? The director? He's that... he's
Shitty Mick can't fucking
Shitty
make a movie.
Face. Right, that guy.
Shitty Mick not canon, please.
Go ahead, Dyer.
CNN never wanted to be outdone, decided to enter the fray in classic fake news fashion. As Anderson Cooper was reporting on the story, he and the on-screen graphics identified Northam as a Republican. He's a Democrat, by the way. They expected you to believe that this was an accident, of course, not that they were trying to willfully mislead people as they have very, very recently. Cough, cough, Covington. They did issue a correction at the end of the video on their website, but we have, as we've discussed before, adding a correction at the end of a piece instead of verbally retracting it is pretty shitty journalism. I don't even know why I expect more from CNN.
Well, Dyer, I have breaking news. It appears that the story actually gets even more chromosomally challenged.
Shut up.
So, it's true. It actually gets more retarded.
No.
So, it gets more retarded. So
you can put more retard into that thing? Jesus.
Yes, he's actually straight up gone full retard. He apologized first, right? So he admitted he did it and he apologized, which was actually, I think, probably his best course of action. But then the next day he denied that he was in the picture, that it never happened. Now he's actually saying this, okay? Get it? Here it comes. Here it comes.
Here it comes.
He's saying that he used shoe polish on his face to enter a Michael Jackson dance contest. Yes, everyone. You heard it here first. You can use blackface as long as it's about a black pedophile that you're trying to imitate. It's okay. That makes the blackface okay. It was a Michael Jackson. I learned to moonwalk for that dance contest.
Wait a second. Michael Jackson was black?
That's what I said.
What?
Shimon! As Rail says in chat. So, this is the impression I'm getting right now. Northam is like a boxer who's in deep trouble. The guy is just stumbling around, swinging wildly, hoping to get a knockout, you know? And unfortunately for Governor Northam, he keeps punching himself in the dick.
Stop punching yourself. Wow.
Yep. Boom, boom, boom. You missed your cue, Clyde. You suck.
I missed my cue.
Yes, you did.
I've got no more cues.
We talked about this before the show.
What?
Wah, wah, wah.
No, Michael Jackson wasn't a pedo here in chat. Okay.
So, can you guys jump on Discord real quick? Because that was our last story, but we do have one last discussion before we bring the show to a close.
Oh, yes, sir.
And while we're doing this, we're going to have a little discussion, a little debate of sorts. While we're doing this, though, if you want to get on this last minute to be in the raffle for the Dream Keepers Volume 1 or Volume 2, depending on which one you have already. If you have Volume 1, we'll give you Volume 2. If you don't have Volume 1, we'll just give you Volume 1. Volume 0. So we're going to be doing a little discussion with I don't know how to pronounce her name, but it's Keilet. I'm sure he'll tell me in a second.
Gillette.
So, Gillette, yeah. So once Bargain McGinnis has them on the show, you can unmute your mic and we can get started.
I'm in there, so.
Okay, you can unmute yourself. She might have a delay. Unmute. Unmute yourself.
This is as fun as the call-in shows.
So yeah, exactly like that. So what's going to happen is they want to debate on capitalism versus socialism, and we weren't able to get a socialist in to debate. So we're going to do our very best devil's advocate.
Oh my God, this is gonna be tough.
I know, right? Because
we should bring Rail in here. He's a commie.
Yeah, Rail is a commie.
Oh wow, bring Rail in. That's great. I didn't know that. Rail, you're a commie?
No, he's not a commie.
That's
like the opposite of commie. He just has a fetish for Eastern European architecture.
Okay. Though if we do have a commie listening, you can jump in Discord, please do, and you can possibly save us from doing the devil's advocate. That'd be great, real great.
Dave Youngston has a super chat for £2. For MJ, it didn't matter if you were black or white. It's true, just under 10. He liked Webster and Cully McCulkin.
Cully McCulkin.
Of the Clan McCullen.
All right.
There can only be one. Oh, like 2 people in the audience will get that.
All right.
Hey, Rick, who the fuck are you?
Okay, all right. Sorry, he. Hey, man, go ahead and speak up. You're on the show. K. Okay, goes by K.
K.
Very K.
I can't hear.
I'm not hearing anything.
Oh,
here we go. Here we go.
Hey, K, how you doing?
Welcome to the show.
Well, I didn't hear you addressing me in Discord. You're still muted, Dyer.
Oh, yeah. Dyer's muted, it looks like.
Oh, sorry about that. So, how you doing?
I'm doing well. You?
Fantastic.
Phantasmagorically. Now, I'm going to try to play the devil's advocate here for the commies while I'm wearing a demonetized shirt and a MAGA hat. Do my best. I will.
Yeah, we'll both be trying to tag team, bring you to the wise ways of socialism. You'll have to defeat our ideas, I guess.
Maybe.
But first off,
maybe it would be best if I did it as Bernie. If I spoke to you as Bernie, do you think that it would be a little bit more believable?
Well, you could put on the girl voice, Clyde, and speak to him as Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
Yeah. So let's start off with how do you define capitalism and socialism? Just so we're using the same. We're not speaking past each other. You know. First, what is capitalism to you?
Well, capitalism is the free market that our great country is built on. It's what allows businesses to do as they please with minimal regulation and to thrive and grow and to bring innovations to not only our country but to the world.
Yeah, but shouldn't there be some kind of restrictions on that? Like when these companies, they get too big and then they're like monopolies, and we need to, as a government, maybe step in and control them.
He's already accepted that there are some restrictions in his definition of capitalism, so then he's totally okay with elements of socialism, because we currently have socialist programs in the United States right now, and he's totally okay with that, I assume, right?
We have socialist programs, but that does not mean we're a socialist society. We have programs to assist people, but it doesn't mean that everything that the government does is socialism. Not everything that comes from the government is socialism.
Yeah, but the best things in the market come from the socialist aspects of the market, don't they? You know, so many people are living high on the hog, while so many people are dying in the streets. We need to pull back on the top 1% of the top 1%, because it's not fair that they're millionaires while there's so many people, you know, in squabbles.
Okay. Would you say that the United States is a good example of a capitalist nation that was successful?
The United States is the example of a capitalist nation that is successful.
But America isn't a capitalist nation. It has lots of socialism built into its system. It is not purely capitalist. So you're comfortable with a system that already incorporates a lot of socialism. So I don't see why you think there's a problem with it.
I wouldn't say that it incorporates a lot of socialism. There are some social aspects, and I believe that there always will be. However, the problem is the Democrats always want there to be more socialism. They always want there to be more government control.
But if a little bit of socialism is working great, like it builds your roads and takes care of your poor and you're hungry and prevents people from dying in the streets, why isn't more socialism also good?
Well, there are aspects of government that should rightfully be government responsibility, such as maintaining military for protection of our country, maintaining police forces, things like that should be government responsibility.
Yeah, but can't the government jump in
the reason why
and step in place and take on more responsibilities where the market's lacking, like places like healthcare? Like look at the Scandinavian countries or even in Canada, where they have amazing healthcare that takes care of all their people, and it's all paid for by tax dollars from the rich and the wealthy.
I'm going to step in here and point out that all those Scandinavian countries are capitalist.
Hey, I'm giving the talking points that fucking so.
Hey, Vince, stop helping his argument.
See, trust me, I can argue against what I'm saying.
My bullshit meter went off. I can't help it. Let's be fair.
We're saying exactly what the arguments he'll come across are. We're not.
Yeah, exactly.
See, here's an amazing thing about the universal health care in Canada. It was actually ruled in a Supreme Court case in 2005 to be a human rights violation.
In Quebec. Only in Quebec. That's one province in the whole entirety of Canada. So it's a Supreme Court case back in 2005. But you look across the other provinces, and everybody's waiting in line just as they always did. I mean, it's the best healthcare that they've always had.
No one's denied healthcare. No one.
You're right.
I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time actually advocating this shit.
Yeah, I figured it would be hard for you guys, but anyways, to continue, you're right. It is the best healthcare that they have ever had. Their quality of healthcare is far below ours in the United States.
Well, maybe the problem for that is based on the number of doctors. You know, how the big difference in not only creating wealth and also prosperity in your country is having more people who are educated. So wouldn't you agree that if the state were to provide free education to everyone, we'd have more people educated as doctors, which would lower the individual load on each doctor?
All right. We can go on that point. We can go on that point. Well, you see, what the Democrats want to do with socialism is the most recent thing to come up is Medicare for all. And actually, it would be more akin to Medicaid, which is the low-income side of universal healthcare, government healthcare assistance. So it would already reduce our quality of healthcare right there, and throw in free schooling for all on top of that, which it wouldn't be for all. It would only be for those that decided to go there. So for the part of the country that doesn't want to go to college, that doesn't want to further their education, they just want to move into skill-based employment. They just want to, do a trade. They're paying for people that want to go to school, but it's not fair to them.
Now I see how you've taken the conversation and you've gone from healthcare, which is obviously best when it's run by, a governing body. But at the same time, you went into education, and I agree. I agree education should be free for everyone. Everyone should be able to have the opportunity to get into the Electoral College.
Trade schools also should be free. So if you have all those people going into the trades, they'll have free schools too. And that means that we'll have more people trained up as mechanics and scientists and doctors, and our society will be better for it.
So, who pays the teachers then?
The wealthy, of course, because they're the ones that bear the most responsibility for society.
Okay. How exactly did you propose that we have the wealthy pay for it? Are they not already paying their fair share with our progressive tax system?
Hey, well, we're talking about fair shares. Look how much money they actually get in the end. I mean, is that fair? Is that fair that they're all getting that much money? We should really look at the top earners of all Americans and look at how many people are struggling in their day-to-day when, they really, really want to concentrate on their Twitch streaming career.
And on that point, deflection, red herring, what about all the loopholes that they're exploiting? That's a problem.
See, the problem isn't that...
This is such a fucking hard thing to do, dude. You have no idea. You have no idea how hard it is to
That's why I'm
give
glad I'm on
fucking
this
talking
side.
points.
The problem isn't that they're earning more...
Oh, damn it. I got kicked out. 1 second.
We lost.
Okay, I'm back in. Sorry about that.
Repeat what you said. We missed what you said because the microphone left the room.
Yeah, Discord. Fucking awesome service, guys.
The problem isn't that they're making more than somebody else, say yourself. That's actually not a problem. That's a good thing. It stimulates our economy, and it enables them to create more jobs if they're entrepreneurs, if they're business owners. And not only that, typically you don't see a bunch of rich people just hoarding money. They go out and buy money.
They go out and, we have currently millions of people living on the streets, starving, that barely surviving. And how is it moral for these people to be dying in the streets, and then we have people who have all this wealth that they're not even using?
Yeah, totally. How can we really keep the means of production in the hands of people who are only selfishly, doing the bidding based on what they want out of it? There are bigger standards at stake here. All of society is affected by what they do with their money and their property.
The voices in my head. Go on.
Well, while it might be true that there are homeless people, that there are people that have found themselves in unfortunate circumstances, that may be because of the decisions that they made in their lives that led them to those places. And that's not the fault.
Personal accountability, so you're blaming the victim.
I'm sorry.
I didn't even think of that angle. Damn it, Dyer. What fucking blogs have you been hanging out on, man?
Hey, man, I studied the arguments, man. I've heard this before.
Absurd.
So,
this is so hard for me. It's really tough.
All right. If you go out and get drunk and decide to drive a vehicle and hit somebody, they're now a victim. Is that their fault that they were in front of your vehicle, or is that your fault for driving drunk?
Well, I mean, they might have made a mistake, right? But we have the power to prevent them from dying. And should the consequence for a mistake being that you die? I mean, yeah, let them, to which is one's ability to which is one's. What's that phrase again? Damn, I messed up that quote. But if they don't get as much given to them if they don't work for it. But we should make a minimum. not let people just die. I mean, I think the consequence for making poor choices shouldn't be death.
And when I was in public school, I learned to look both ways. And public school seems to be like the best kind of education that's going to these days. So look both ways before you cross the road, guys.
Yeah, but also, I mean, people look left and right, but rarely look up.
Hey, Clyde.
Yeah.
Rail wants you to use a lot more of that high-pitched voice.
Oh.
It's because it turns him on. Don't do it.
Oh,
He
dude.
loves it. He loves it.
Is he fapping off camera right now?
Yeah, he is, dude. He's losing it. He's just, his pants are down around his ankles.
Sorry, kid. Go on. I'm sorry.
Well,
I mean, I'm not. I would say something more constructive, but I really have no arguments for socialism.
I'm having a hard time, honestly, like trying to come up with.
I don't blame you.
Because the shit that they say is just actually retarded.
It is. It is.
But I mean, like I can understand socialists, like where they come to those conclusions without looking up stuff and learning about stuff and how the world works, because it's all emotion driven. Like,
yeah,
if you really think about where their platform comes from, is like, but shouldn't these people being taken care of? And well, yeah, but at what cost, right? And that's always the question.
Daychrist actually says he'd give it a shot coming in to argue for socialism.
Okay.
You want me to bring him?
Yeah, we'll bring him in a second. My strategy is basically turn off all personal accountability and assumptions, make emotional appeals, and when you're in a tight spot where your logical argument is going to fall apart, you distract to some other inequity in society.
Compare socialist implementation in other countries, but ignore all the detriment that has been caused.
And never get trapped into explaining the details of how you would implement socialism, because that always traps you. So that's how you can argue against a capitalist in a circular argument that keeps them running around chasing you around without ever getting trapped into your argument. If you want to argue that way, it's just totally dishonest.
My favorite argument against socialism, when people say we should take the money away from rich people to give to other people, and I always say instead of what, right? And the instead of what argument is always great, because you don't know what the market would actually put out there. When somebody says we should take the money away and we use it for this, and then okay, instead of what? And then they're like, I don't know what you mean. Well, I don't know either, because there's a lot of people that come up with amazing things. You didn't know what a smartphone was until a guy in a garage decided to make a company and then turn it into like $1 billion business, and then eventually develop the cell phone or the smartphone. And now you all enjoy that, and the government never would have created that. So instead of what?
Yeah.
Instead of what is always the argument.
That's a good argument. I'm going to stop playing devil's advocate. Just for anyone who might have just tuned in the middle of this, I am actually a capitalist. I'm playing devil's advocate. I do not support socialism.
Direwolf is a wolf of the people. He is the wolf of the proletariat.
I'm being spared having to further make arguments disingenuously by Daychrist coming in here, and he's going to continue arguing on behalf of the great socialism.
And for me, when I was making arguments for socialism, everyone came with a dig against socialism. I'm a comedian, right? It's how you deliver stuff, right?
Yes. All right, and arguing for capitalism still is K. Hey, Daychrist.
Yeah, it's extremely hard to argue for socialism, but I'll give it my best shot.
Fair enough.
So you're not a socialist either, too. So this is kind of like a blind leading the blind.
Well, you can argue for socialism. It's just you have to kind of go from where they're coming from. You have to put yourself in that position, and it's really hard to do. But it can be.
So for anyone who's Jeez, did I get kicked out again? No, I didn't. For anyone who's tuning in, if you're on the side of socialism, you want to like come up with arguments and talk to us with your arguments, by all means, you're welcome. We just don't have a lot of people try to challenge us that often. It just doesn't happen.
I mean, it doesn't necessarily
survive. Just kidding. All right.
I mean, it's not
So,
necessarily
Dave,
that.
let's start with Dave Chris. I'll take the role of moderator then. Dave Chris, give your argument for socialism, and then we'll give Kay an opportunity to respond.
Okay, first off, in a socialist setup, you wouldn't have as many poor because, of course, everything would be paid out evenly amongst everyone. So why would you argue against that for capitalism, which tends to make far more poor?
Love your work. Build the wall.
Thank you, Chris Williamson. Thank you very much. $10.
You're just arguing for redistribution
Chris
of wealth.
Williamson.
No, not at all. It's just I'm starting with the basic aspects of socialism.
The basic aspects of socialism, which would be, at this point, from a capitalist society to a socialist society, would be the redistribution of wealth. You know, the basic Robin Hood story: take from the rich, give to the poor. You see, the problem with that is that doesn't really make the poor richer. That just makes everybody else poorer.
Well, it depends. How do you define how someone becomes more wealthy? Is it amount of money? Because if it's amount of money, then by taking from the rich who are already very wealthy and giving to the poor, are you not making said poor wealthy?
You are increasing the poor's wealth, but is that fair to simply take from the rich? And of course, the answer to that is no. Anybody with half a brain can realize that. And what that also does is it negatively impacts the economy. It negatively impacts what those wealthy are doing with their money, whether they're spending it, whether they're putting it into business ventures to increase the successfulness of our economy, to increase jobs and provide employment for other people, some of whom could be poor.
Okay, well, on your first point,
sorry. Before you get into these points, we did have a Streamlabs donation from Chris Williamson. He donated $10. Oh, you did? Sorry, I had to have a piss, and
it was text to speech. We saw you walk into the Earth. Flat Earth confirmed.
Flat Earth confirmed. All right, sorry for interrupting. My bad.
Okay, so on your first point, you say it's not right to take from the rich. Well, taxes do that all the time, do they not? On the second point, you say that just by giving money to the poor, that doesn't make them wealthy and will impact the economy. What do you think the poor is going to do with that money? They're going to turn around, they're going to put it back into the economy. Will they not?
They might. It can't necessarily be said what they'll do with it. Chances are, and we can compare this to any lottery winners, people that get any kind of windfall of cash, more than likely just blow the money. They're not used to having that sort of income. They have no plans to invest and to better their lives with that money. They only think of what they can get and how they can spend it in the short term. They have no long-term plan to better their lives if they were simply given money.
Okay, but you didn't argue my first point about taxation taking money away from the rich anyways. So we'll work on this idea that people who are just given money just end up blowing it. Well, then you're agreeing that this won't hurt the economy because all that money's probably going to go back into the economy anyways, correct?
It will go back into the economy, you're correct about that, but it will still hurt the economy because the economy is a very long-term position. The economy doesn't work in the short term.
But you would always give money to the poor from the rich. The money that's being taken wouldn't be from the businesses themselves, it'd be from the personal fortunes of said rich. Now, so it wouldn't exactly hurt the businesses because those are funded out of the businesses' finances, not out of that not out of that wealthy person's own personal finances.
That's not the argument that you made, though. You said that it's going to be taking from the wealthy, not out of the wealthy's businesses, and not every person that is wealthy owns a business and operates a business.
No, but your argument was that by taking money from the wealthy, that it would hurt job opportunities for their businesses. But this isn't taking money from the businesses, it's taking from the wealthy's personal amounts.
That's making the very bold assumption that these people are just going to take this on the chin and let it stand as that. The problem is, you really need to be, I don't even know how to describe it, but the problem is that that's just not going to happen.
Well, who's making assumptions now? You're making the assumption that this wouldn't happen. The rich are taxed regularly by the government, are they not? They seem to take that on the chin.
That's because the government, well, we need to recognize that taxes are necessary to run a government. However, if we didn't have the socialist programs that we have now, taxes could go down, which would promote more business growth, more job creation, and people could get themselves out of bad situations versus relying on the government to do that.
But would you say if we get rid of the social programs that we currently have, that this would lower taxes? Do you have any proof of this or not? Now, social programs do end up helping people get out of bad situations, like during layoffs or they're unemployed, they need help to get back into the job market. You would say taking that away from them would be better to help them. That would help. By taking that away, you would be helping them better themselves further. I don't see the point of this argument.
What say you?
So do you guys both consent to further debate, or you guys think you've come to a impasse?
I'm always up for further debate.
I don't think they can hear you.
Oh, what the hell? I can't hear them either.
I can't hear them
can you
either.
hear?
Are they talking?
No,
I'm still here.
I can't hear Clyde either.
Dire's broken.
You can hear me, right?
Okay,
Clyde,
hey,
you broke it.
I didn't break it.
So it sounded like to us there might have been a end in or a lull in the conversation. But I'm going to ask you: do you guys consent to further argumentation, or do you think you guys have come to a impasse and would like to move on?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
I can't.
Okay. So, did you hear my last argument or no?
We did. Yes, we did.
I heard that. I suppose I just wasn't as prepared. I wasn't as prepared as I thought I was to go into. I am?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can. Yeah, you're breaking up pretty bad.
Oh.
And not hearing Kay at all.
Any better here?
Okay,
I could hear you. I could hear you, Kay, but I guess Direwolf's having issues hearing us.
Yeah, you got like a bit of a tremolo from the breakup, Daychrist. But I'm getting the audio fine. I'm just checking my stuff to see why the other guys wouldn't be hearing you.
Either way, I think we've reached an impasse, and appreciate the debate. It's always fun to get a little debate in.
It is good, yes, and it's good to practice debate with people who are kind of on your side, so you don't get put on the spot and not know what kind of responses maybe that you want to articulate. If I put it right, because a lot of people they'll have debate tactics that'll try to put you in a spot where you're like, oh well, I can't really argue against that, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Well, that's
debating is a skill.
But
also, it's really important that you expose yourself to counter arguments to what you believe. So you test what you believe and you strengthen your own arguments, and you thus know what you believe more because you've had to defend it.
Well, that and challenge your own belief.
Yes,
right?
that too.
Like look at what you do believe and question it constantly. Go, hey, am I wrong? Am I wrong? Why do I believe this?
See, what we should do, we should have found Axton Axton to be the socialist because he's legit is commie. You know.
Oh, did I not do a good enough job?
No. Dacris is asking if he didn't do a good enough job. I don't know if you heard.
Oh, you did a good job.
No, you're fine, dude. You're fine. It's just but it's time constraints. So we appreciate you guys coming on, and we'll probably do this again sometime.
Yeah,
maybe on a different stream. Actually, I'm thinking about.
It sounds like a good kind of content that would be fun to get other people to come in and give out their ideas. If you guys are down for it, we can actually make a stream focused on that.
Well, it's funny you should mention that there, Clydo. I was just talking to Direwolf this morning, and we're thinking about doing morning streams because no one's streaming in the morning at the moment. Okay. And so we can maybe have a debate stream in the morning, something maybe. What do you think, Dyer?
So right now, I'm totally cool with that additional stream in the morning. Right now, you can actually call in to the midweek call-in show and do things just like this. However, you'll be stuck to about a 10-minute time limit. So those are very short debates, right?
Right.
So you can call in for small discussions during the midweek show, but if for a longer form, where we can do this new stream in the morning. Now, there's two options of this. We can do a live one if you want to do a discussion, or if you want to do a formal debate, you can do it on air or off air. And the only difference is it'll still get posted, but one will be a little more cleaned up. So I'll give both options are available. Some people would rather do it live. Some would rather not.
Fair enough. All right, I want to thank you guys for joining in and jumping in. Dacris, you're a sport. And how do you pronounce that?
K.
K
is fine.
Okay, K. Thank you so much for joining in and giving it a good effort. I tried my best to do Bernie Sanders viewpoints. I think he's an idiot.
Yes.
I did my best part playing an idiot for you.
Oh, no problem. If you ever need somebody to play devil's advocate, I'm more than welcome to do it, I guess.
Yeah, you're better at it than I am.
All right. Thank you both for sending you back to casual, okay?
All right.
Hope to have you on again sometime.
Cool.
Hey, Clyde, I have some little breaking news / not breaking news. You got that tweet?
I did see that. Let's pull that up just now. What's that?
What? Read that out for me, buddy.
Congratulations to @Ralph Northam and his team for showing up at Virginia. Won't stand for hatred and bigotry.
Wow, that tweet didn't age well, did it?
Yeah.
That's not breaking, is it? Oh,
no,
that isn't actually breaking news. Oh, got me with the.
I got tricked.
Got me with the old one that's no longer relevant to the current situation.
It's relevant. It's relevant because I haven't seen her call out for his resignation, have we?
No, we haven't.
No. Hey, nah.
Yeah, I bet she regurts that one too. Yeah. No regurt.
It was basically not is nonsense, but I was thinking every time I see her name, I think camel hairs. I know.
I got camel hairs.
Yeah, that's all I hear is camel hairs. Good luck with them camel hairs.
Yeah.
No idea.
That's my little nickname for her. Anyways, thank you all for coming on, debating, watching, and donating. We're going to do the actual raffle now. We're going to raffle off one of the books.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and you guys, if you want to get in your last-minute donations, do so in the next, minute?
Minute?
Yep. Come on. Depends on how
you
slow
got a
I
minute.
am.
Wow. That doesn't give me a whole lot of time.
It's pretty slow.
What are you going to do with all that time?
All that copy and paste.
Yeah, I'm copying right now.
And we are going to be doing a game stream after this and getting off the serious note and going into let's have some fun.
So you can donate now or on the game stream, but you won't win the book on the game stream. We'll just take your money.
All right, brutal honesty from Vincent Veritas.
All right. I am ready. Ready for the drum roll.
All right.
Is there bongos in there? Thought I heard bongos.
Maybe.
That was me.
All right. The winner is Dave Youngston.
Again?
Yeah, Dave Youngston won it again.
That's one damn lucky Brit.
Yeah.
He was in there a few times.
So, Dave, do you have a volume 1 and 2, or do you only have a volume 1? Dave Youngston.
If you don't have either one, we'll give you the one that you want. And you can always pass it off to the next person if you are crazy, I guess.
Yeah. So crazy.
Mr. Bob Arena.
So, Dave Youngston, I guess he's going to have to wait for him to hear us say those
You're crazy, man. You're so crazy.
So crazy.
Why God?
So crazy.
Oh my
you're
God, so
loco.
crazy. Crazy.
You loco ese. $2 super chat from Johnny Hellcat. Oh, not under the wire, though.
Nope.
Sandy, on my God. I got nothing.
Johnny. Yes, Papa.
Johnny come lately.
Got volume 1 in route. He wants a volume 2, it appears, big buddy.
All right, Dave Youngston, you will get a volume 2, or I will die trying.
All right.
Let's hope he doesn't die trying.
So we're going to put this one to an end. And see you guys in
One second. Dave Youngston does need to send me his address in an email to contact Direwolf to receive his prize.
I think he has, dude.
I know he sent it in the past. For each prize, new email.
Oh, because he erases your shit.
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
There's no great big Direwolf Media database.
Yeah, I do not keep people's addresses.
And
I delete.
And it's gone. Yeah, well, I got your email, and it's gone.
And it's gone. Sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry, buddy.
All right,
guys. It was great seeing you guys tonight.
Yep. Thank you very much. Direwolf out. Boo.
Boobies.
Play the boo.